Wow, I cannot believe that we have this weather in November in Tokyo. It just doesn't feel right. It's about 24 degrees Celsius. Again, it's like the what is it, November 5th, 2023. And this is not typical of weather here in Tokyo. And in this episode, I'm going to go over what is a typical November like here in Tokyo. Now, Japan is a very long country. It goes all the way up to Wakkanai, the very tip of Hokkaido, down to Okinawa. Well, Kyushu and then Okinawa, which is a subtropical feeling place. It never really gets that chilly down in Okinawa. A little bit. You might need a jacket in January, but it's got a wide range of temperatures. And sitting in the middle, sort of, is Tokyo, maybe a little bit more north. And we have some weather that's very similar to maybe like Washington, D.C. or Virginia or North Carolina, something like that. It never really in the winter gets below 10 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Fahrenheit, so it doesn't get too chilly. It will, but typically. So check us out. Here is the weather that we will typically get in November. I pulled it up because I was really curious about this myself. And November is right there. It is typically 17 degrees Celsius or 17 degrees Celsius. What is that in Fahrenheit? I don't know, like 60s? But it's like, it feels like upper 70s, low 80s. I have a t-shirt on and shorts and sandals. That's not normal. This is not normal. This is too nice. If you're planning on what to wear, don't plan for this, all right, in November. You're gonna be wanting long pants, maybe a button-down shirt. You can get, you know, like a sweatshirt, hoodie, or a fleece or a sweater. Maybe a light jacket is quite nice. It doesn't really start to feel like winter in Tokyo until about, I don't know, like December. I think we start to feel a nip of winter around December 10th or so. And then you can kind of feel it, but it doesn't really get like winter until, I don't know, like mid-January. Then you know it's cold because it's dry. And today is just perfect. I can't even, I think if we compare Tokyo's weather to even like when it is this warm, this is perfect. And you want to know why? There's zero humidity, even here on the river. Zero humidity. It's dry and comfortable, and the sun is shining and it hits your face, and there's this really pleasant warmth. It's just too nice. So let's walk along the Sumida River, and I'm going to show you and talk to you about the weather here in autumn. Yesterday I was, or the day before yesterday, I was here at the world's oldest hotel, and you can see Koyo, which is the Japanese autumn. The leaves have changed. The summer was quite hot. In fact, it was one of the hottest summers that I can remember, and so the rice and the vegetables are not as tasty this year. A lot of the farmers were telling me. On top of that, the colors for the autumn, the koyo, are not as vibrant as they were. The a little bit too brown. The reds were a little brownish. The yellows were more on the brown side. But it still looks pretty nice. I mean, it's nice out there, but it's not the same kind of vibrance as we got in years past. That again is the world's oldest hotel called Nishiyama Onsen Keonkan, established in the year 705 AD. That's a new building, though it's not an old hotel as a building. It's an old hotel as a business, and I like to go there every now and then. I got invited by the 52nd CEO, who's a really good friend, and we keep in touch, and I'm glad that we did. I was also here yesterday, or sorry, the day before yesterday. On the back of a 1,000-yen note. Holy smokes, thanks. And you can see on the back of the 1,000-yen note, I was at this spot. I didn't even know it. It's in Lake Motosu, and the autumn foliage around this area was just starting. I think we were like maybe 400 meters up or so, but it's starting to look really nice. And the peak seasons for different places in autumn change because of elevation, but also because of the different zones that the whole long country of Japan is. So if you're looking up in Hokkaido, you might even be past the peak. If you're looking at Tohoku, it is the peak right now, and it's about 2 weeks earlier than it has been in weeks past, which is early, but not bad. All right, you can see the sky tree. Do you see that in between the bridge there? That's a nice view right in between there. You missed it just about 2 minutes ago, or 2 minutes before I started the live stream. Space boat went by here, so maybe we're getting a chance to catch them as they cruise through here once again. It's the way to go. If you come into the city, you get to see so much of it. Tokyo is very much like Amsterdam in the way that there's so many canals, and the ancient cities of the past relied on those canals to get commerce through. Tokyo was no exception. The Kanda River is one that will go around the entire city, sort of like the Yamanote line, but these days we have the Yamanote line, so we don't need it. You can see across the river from me that closes off the main river to the canals so it doesn't flood should a typhoon or some massive rains up in the mountains of Nagano and Gunma bring all this rainwater down into Tokyo. We don't have a problem. We just close these locks, and the walls, the river banks here will do the job. Arthur Vandelay's in the house. Thank you. Nice to see you, Arthur. And I see Bredja Studio is here as well. What a beautiful day. I cannot believe that this is November. We're getting close to the end of 2023, and I got shorts on with sandals. And I could have gone tank top, but that would have looked even weirder. I think, so you can see people are wearing long sleeves, and I think it's just because it's November, but you can obviously get away with shorts today. And Birkenstocks if you really went hardcore summer. And guess who's here as well? WRX Turbo in the house. How you doing? There's one of the, oh look, it's crowded. You remember in the years past where I would be out here and there'd be nobody on board? Now we have a lot. Let's wave to them, see if we can get some. Oh, we got a couple right there, yes. Right in the front. This is our back, and that's a good sign. All right, the signal's going in and out because we're between the buildings, but it'll get stronger as we move out over here. Yeah, it's very rare to get temperatures like this. Take a look here. The rainfall is something that you should also plan for. And if we look at this, November is a really good month to come because you don't get a lot of it. In the winter in general, Tokyo, this is again for Tokyo, you're getting most of the rain between June, July, August, September, and October. And that September and October number is heavily influenced by typhoons. So when a typhoon is not coming, you get quite a lot of sunshine. But when the typhoons come, they drop a lot of rain. So the number of rain days probably not as high, but the amount of rain dropped is quite significant. That probably impacts June, July, August as well. But June, more the monsoon rains that come in here, so it is chillier. You think of June as being summer, but in Tokyo, it is a little bit chilly because you have the rains and the winds. So I'm always wearing a jacket and long pants, even into July, believe it or not. But really though, I've got shorts starting in March. As soon as I see the first cherry blossom, I'm like, okay, summer's here, and I go full on like summer because I can get away with it. So that if you're gonna plan for rainfall, that's really good. November is not too bad because we don't get a lot of typhoons in November. The typhoon season is over now. This is really important as well. And this is a reason why you should come in summer, if there is one, because everybody knows about the super hot humidity. The amount of sunlight that you get is significantly reduced, of course, in the winter. November being a lot less, 1 hour less than October. It gets dark real early, and it gets light about a normal hour, actually. But you only get 10.5 hours of sunlight. So I'm outside kind of getting a little bit of that right now. December and January, of course, the darkest months, but you can't, you have to plan more indoor activities, of course, in the winter, but you also have to remember that you're not getting a lot of sunshine. And June, July, August, you're getting a lot more. So that's something that you want to plan for. I do like the bridges of the Sumida River. Going underneath them offers a unique perspective of the Tokyo skyline as well as we move on to the other side here. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Here, let's take one more look at the temperatures in Tokyo. Again, this is only Tokyo. It gets down to about, the coldest is about freezing. You'll hit that as in the middle of the night in January and February. How do I know that? Because I often go every single New Year. I'll be outside at the countdown, and it is typically quite chilly, so you have to bundle up. But in the day, when the sun is out, if it's out, it gets to about 10 to 13 degrees, which is about, 50s, 55. It's quite comfortable, It's not too cold. It's not like going up to Sendai or Hokkaido, which is always in the minuses from the winds and the snows that are falling up there. But yeah, I've been living here for 25 years, and I've seen some cold winters, and I've seen some pretty warm winters. And I'm always hoping for a warm winter. It just makes it more bearable. Now, the thing that's the worst, if you're talking about, is Japan cold or not? Yeah, it's going to be chilly, and in particular, if you're traveling around, the further you go west, we say west to Kyoto from Tokyo, west to Osaka. I know some of you might say south, but it's more west than south. So it's like west, southwest, maybe, I don't know. But it typically will get warmer going west towards Osaka, Hiroshima, Fukuoka. And Hiroshima typically has more sunshine. It's kind of like the Sunshine Coast on that inlet sea down there. So I loved living in Hiroshima because of that. You just got more sunshine. They have lemons, and olives. So that's a sign of how much sunshine they get down there in that part of Japan. And then Kyushu, which gets a lot more rainfall from the typhoons that hit it, but also has really nice weather, really warm, a lot of onsen. The vegetables and the food is so delicious down in Kyushu, and Shikoku as well. Shikoku might be a little bit chillier because it's got more mountains in the center of it, although Kyushu does have some mountains. Most of those volcanic, when I think about it, which is warm. But when you look at Tokyo, yeah, I'm always hoping for a warm summer, a warm winter, because it's bearable. But more than the coolness, again, to get back to this, it's the dryness of winter. This is the thing that I don't like about Japanese winter. It's too dry, and it has to do with the fact that this is just an island, right? The dry air comes in. There's no continentality. So it doesn't get too cold or it doesn't get too hot. It stays pretty moderate. But the dryness is awful. All my fingers, they start to chap, and the skin starts to peel, and you got to put cream on every day, or else it's just not bearable. Everyone gets sick because of the dry air, and that they're sick. But the dry air is just so conducive to getting everybody sick. Ohio State is not playing Rutgers right now. Ohio State won 35-16. And if you're trying to get me to watch it, I'm just going to say the score right now because I know what it is. Kyle McCord is not playing great ball. It's so frustrating. He's the reason why they might not win it all, which is sad to say. But let's just give the young guy a chance, maybe. All right, and Rutgers did play pretty strong, I have to admit. Look at this. Let's wave. Woohoo! Ahoy! Oh, we got some wavers. Awesome. Bye-bye. There they go. That's really, I love to see the boats go by. This is why living in Chuoku along the river is one of the best places to to stay. You know, a lot of you might be attracted to Shibuya or, you know, Setagaya because it's cool. There's nothing better than living out on the river in Tokyo Bay, next to Tokyo, near Tokyo Station, near Haneda Airport. I know all the people love Setagaya. They like to live in this area because it's got a lot of cafes and restaurants and stuff. I'll take this over that, all right? So I know, you know, PewDiePie and a bunch of other YouTubers are living in Setagaya Ward. I'll take this day in, day out. It's just so much better. See the boats, the Sky Tree, and I've got my share of really nice restaurants and cafes and bridges. And it's more affordable here, which makes no sense. All right, let's have a seat here. I wanted to take some questions now because yesterday it was raining this morning, and then it like, oh my gosh, the sun feels so good. This is abnormal weather. Oh, this is crazy. This is where my wife and I danced, and we went on a family vacation yesterday. I did stop by here. This is Arakurayama Sengen Park, famous. I think it was on the cover of Lonely Planet a few years ago, and 99.9% tourists. That 0.1% are Japanese guides bringing foreigners with them. But you get the pagoda with Mount Fuji and long views across Fuji Yoshida. I did a live stream here and at the at those places that I just showed you earlier. It's a really nice place. I think it's worth stopping by, especially if you have a car. A lot of bus tours will stop by here as well, so it gets crowded at times. But you can see the autumn colors have changed, and I did get a really nice shot from here on my Instagram. Check that out. I was walking down the steps to get back to the car because Kanai, Leo, and I were driving to Keionkan, the ryokan for the night stay, and I was walking down the steps like, wait. I went back up 2 steps because this is a perfect framing of autumn colors, Mount Fuji and Fuji Yoshida City down there, and got a nice shot right there. And there's a couple of pictures of the family in there as well if you want to go check that on an Instagram. Yeah, there you go. So let's take some of the questions here, which I like to do. I would love a postcard of that photo. JKO Adventures is making a play for it. It's going to be a tough one. It's either that or it's going to be this one. And I got a wider shot of it that shows all of the autumn colors. So it's gonna be a tough one for November, JKO. It's gonna be a tough one. I'm actually ordering the postcards on Monday, so, and they should go out around the 10th or 11th of this month, so they get to everybody ASAP. Shirley Studios writes in here, what is your opinion? Some questions here. What is your opinion on the historical, like, I don't want to get into that. I don't have an opinion. I think I ran into a Japanese early 30s person who denied, like, there's people who deny history in every single country of the world. I don't want to get into it because it's a political thing now, but it's over with. It's 78 years ago, and or more when the war started. And when you look back in the 1930s, like, a lot of it, if you go through the history books, a lot of it starts all the way back to the West. It goes back all to the Russian, to the Japanese-Russo War of the early 20th century, and the Japanese Navy getting too strong, making the West panic a little bit. So treaties were signed, things were done. Japan could not get any oil, and Japanese felt quite disrespected. And if you look back at the history of, and this is what kind of brewed with all of this occupation stuff. If you look at the source of it, it brewed from the West's fears of Japan's coming power. And if you looked at the way that they destroyed Russia in the war, like, it wasn't even close. They were just so efficient. I mean, you have to go back and look at the historian's account of how Japan just decimated Russia on the side and took land and stuff, and how the West was like, wait, an Asian country just defeated a Western, a Western power, which is Russia's part of Europe, with the Tsar and all that, like destroyed them. It was pretty, from my understanding of history, it was pretty strong. A lot of treaties came along with that, but one of them that the embargoes, the treatment of Japanese in the U.S. back then. There's a lot of history rooted before all that stuff happened that created that need to go get oil because of the embargoes. They went and did some bad stuff to go and do it. And of course, this is really nasty history, and I don't want to hash it on a live stream about weather. I am an amateur historian, and I leave that to the professionals. But my opinion of it is that if you look at the sources of the war, you can kind of see the signs that Japan made some really bad choices to get the oil. And had they gone to Sakhalin in the north instead of going to Indonesia in the south and occupying those places for oil, they would have found an abundant amount of gas. They didn't have the technology back then in the 1930s and 40s, I don't think. But they didn't have to go down to Indonesia for oil. They could have gotten it all from right up north. Instead of going south, they should have stayed north. Sakhalin has a ton of it, and now that's part of Russia. Interesting. History is interesting, and a lot of people in countries that were occupied by Japan, still suffer through that, and I've had some comments with stories from it. But those stories should be told by you instead of making complaints and comments on the videos. Tell those stories. I told somebody who commented, look, if you're in one of the Southeast Asian countries and you're upset that I made a video about Hiroshima, which is right here, you're very welcome. I try my best. I wanted to tell Hiroshima's story. I lived in Hiroshima. I love the trains in Hiroshima. I really like Sasaguchi-san, who was 14 years old when the bomb went off, and it's a story about the trains and her story of the bomb. It's not a political story, but I got comments about that, about why didn't you make one on this? I said, well, it's not about all the other stuff. It's not a political story. It's about the Hiroshima trains and Sasaguchi-san. That's the story about this. I think if you want to tell that story, please tell that story. I made that story because the people in Japan are leaving us very quickly that were from that generation, and we need to hear those voices. We need to hear those stories, and she had an amazing one. Not a lot of people saw that. Only about 25% of the subscribers, 20% of subscribers saw that video, and it's maybe the most impactful story that I've told on Only in Japan. I understood that political, hardly not. Yeah, Jody, you tell a story, and if you think it's political, then that's your feelings, but I did not make it from a political standpoint. Excuse me. Tell the stories. If you're from, Philippines, Indonesia, I encourage everybody to do it. I think people should know. People should remember. People should not forget, because we will repeat history if we do. Right? Wow, this is not fair. I know some of you might have really bad weather today, and here in Tokyo we have perfect. I don't think you can get even more perfect. Maybe a few less clouds, I don't know. But the air is fresh. It just rained, so it cleaned off the streets. Warren Day, New York writes in here, if Japan occupied China, there's no, quite frankly, that could be true. But look, history is always, in hindsight, it's easy to see. 2020. So what I do as a creator is I try to tell the stories from the point of view of the people telling them. That's why YouTubers don't like to do interviews, because people will click off in an interview. But I love interviews because it's not me telling the story. It is as uncut as I possibly could, giving you the story from the words of the person who was there, and learning the history from somebody who is a master. That's what I really love, and that's how I learn, by listening quite a bit. So I know that a lot of you subscribe to the channel, not this one, the other channel, because those stories come from experts. The latest one I thought was pretty significant was this one. It's the samurai, it's a racing event that's been going on. Actually, it's a military battle event that's been going on since the year 1326, celebrating its 700th anniversary this year. I went there, one of the hottest years on record. I believe they're going to change it to May because it was just too hot. I was there suffering. I was dehydrated at the end of it, and I was lucky I didn't get anything worse. I know there are a lot of other people in the shade. They didn't move much at all. You have to drink a lot. But I was out in the open filming this, so this was hardcore. This episode is starting to pick up steam. A lot of people getting, it's gonna get a lot of views, I think, because I can see the trend is going up on that video. So I want to say thanks to everybody for watching that one. That's a real historical, real cultural story. And if you want to get to know Japan, get to know this event. All right. 35 generations of people doing it. It originally was started in Chiba from Masakado, Taira no Masakado. Masakado, yeah, the guy whose head was chopped off in Kyoto, and it flew all the way to the spot near Marunouchi where it rests today. We don't talk about him anymore. But he was one of the first samurai, Think about that. There weren't that many in the beginning. He's one of the first. And he was based in Chiba originally. So the clan from Chiba moved up to Fukushima in 1323 and brought the festival that Taira Masakado started back then. It's a good story. It's all only in Japan. I think I told it I told it better than they'd ever did it before, because no one had ever really done the history, because I don't think that they saw it being interesting to foreigners. A lot of Japanese covered it. But I said, if you tell the story and you don't lean on the history, it's just an event with a bunch of horses and people in cosplay. But what it's not a role-playing thing. It's an actual thing passed down from one samurai to the next beyond the age of samurai. And the way that they market the festival is not good. It's not a role-playing festival. It's actual armor. These are actual things that they've been doing for 700 years in that same spirit, passed down from 1323, which is crazy. You know, hey, Champagne Sumo writes in here, what cameras do you use? My main camera was the Alpha 1, but I dropped that in a bathtub, so it's sort of my main camera. It still works. So I take that usually for the opening, so I can punch in from 8K if I'm uploading in 4K. So it's like having two cameras. So you can get a zoom and you can get a kind of a wide shot. I like to use the 135 1.8 Sony G Master lens because it's just so buttery smooth. I use the A7S III. I use the Rode mics now, and what is it? Probably the DJI 2s when they come out, and just got the Pocket 3, and that might replace the A7S III. It's just a really good camera and easy to whip out. So cameras don't make a huge difference. Story makes a huge difference. Even if I just used iPhones, it would be pretty good, which I've done. J Jersey Girl, I saw a trailer of the remade Shogun, the 1980s on James. Wait, they're remaking it? Really? I love that. All right. Sanada Hiroyuki is the only one I recognize. Interesting. I'm gonna check that out, Jersey Girl. Thanks for telling me about that. You could do it with Kodak cameras. You'd have to use actual film though, John. And if you want to know more about that, ask our friend UFO Bob, who is in the production business and knows all about film cameras. This is what I was waiting for. Our friend Spaceboat makes its way. There are other boats that go down the Sumida River, but none quite like Spaceboat. It's hardcore. No, it does not dive down, unfortunately. And no, I'm the only one who calls it It's not actually called Spaceboat. It's the Suijo bus, and there's 3 of them that are in this sort of mold. But dude, cool, nicer. Do you live in Japan? Yeah, 25 years here. And welcome to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Wish you could do a collab. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. He has a certain posse that he has on his channel, and so do I. So My door is always open. But I'm not sure what the value is. We're from different generations. You can tell in the content stories that we choose. Wow, it's a beaut. I rode it last with Leo and Kanai. Leo fell asleep before we boarded it, so it didn't count. So that's the Himiko. So we are due. There's the pilot. Diver, go down, go down. That's the bathroom. You see that protruding window, the circular one that looks like a B-52 window? That's the bathroom, I believe. And they'll I don't think they do it on this boat, but the other one you can go up on the roof, but it offers a really good panoramic view. They do have AC, really good panoramic view of the city as you go under the bridges and stuff, and they have narration guiding you on the history of Tokyo and the river and the bridges as it goes under. So I think it's really worth taking this when you come to Japan. This is 6x zoom on the iPhone 14. And there's 1x, which is the main lens. I don't know. To be honest, I don't like to talk about other creators, what they're doing. I think that's their own business. I'm friends with some of them, and I don't have any contact with a lot of them. Paolo is a good guy. He's got a son that's my age. I've met up with him and his wife a few times. Very hardworking guy, hardworking family, great work habits, different style than me, but you know, I've always been encouraging Paolo to go as strong as possible, come up with new ideas. We used to trade ideas 6 years ago. I remember when I first met him, I think he had 30,000 subscribers. And now he's got 3 million. So very proud of him, and he's showing Japan in a very positive way, whether you like his style or not. He's Paolo, and he's a very cool guy, and he loves food, and he loves the culture here, and he does a great job on his channel. And we were supposed to meet up this last weekend, actually today, but he's quite busy, and I'm going to be busy tomorrow too, so we moved it to a couple of weeks. So he's one of the people that I'll try to hang out with. Greg Lamb is an awesome guy. It's usually people that are in my generation, right? And his wife and Kanai get along very well, maybe better than me and Greg. No, me and Greg get along pretty good. We have fun. And yeah, you know, the other creators, I don't know, because they might be too young, or they haven't been living here for a very long time. Like, I'm married with kids. I don't want to go out boozing and drinking at a bar or stuff. I like to go out to dinner, have fun, hang out, you know? I don't need to go clubbing and stuff anymore. I'm not 23. I'm a man with responsibilities, okay? Just like the people I hang out with, you know? You're only as good as the people you hang out with. So pick the people you hang out with carefully, because they make a big impact on who you're going to be. Jody, yeah, boozing. I almost don't drink anymore as well. If I have a beer, it's like I can't even finish it. And if I have a glass of wine, it's a third of a glass. So, you know, I feel better. And this is so cool to see another space boat. Wait, which one is it? Hold on. This is the Emeraldas. Hey, Emeraldas. Did I get that right? I'm trying to see it as it moves. I always thought that was the Esmeralda. But we're past that era, John. Yes, indeed, Carrie. Hey, I still like to have fun, though. But I don't go to clubs, and I don't do drinking parties, and you know, I don't hang out to be cool. This is a natural coolness. I don't care. And this is the best part about it, and this is where I think you start to get authenticity, when you just don't give a darn anymore. I don't care about little things anymore. If you want to comment that you call me old, or you say you have white hair, or you're starting to look a little older, I don't care. It's okay. It's all like real shallow stuff. You know what I care about? I feel good. My health is good. My friends are doing well. Things are popping. I live in a great place. You know, everyone around me is healthy and doing good, and when they're not, you know, that's what I care about. Toku, Texas, you're gonna like one of the episodes I'm producing that as well. If that's one of your addictions, you're gonna love what's coming down the pipeline. This is November, dudes. This is not summer. What are you doing? We're like on the verge of December, and you're in Tokyo doing this? Holy macaroni. That's just so awesome to see. And Andy's taxes, just to put it in perspective, young people should feel like that too. There's nothing to really worry about in those little petty stuff. There's nothing. And once you start to realize that, younger people realize that, they start to become more authentic people and you start to see who they really are, you know, as people. I see that with Leo when he's only like 2.5. I bet you school changes him. I'm somewhat jealous. Now we have 4 boats in one shot. This is crazy. We've got one here. This one looks like, oh, look at the people up there. This is coming from Toyosu. And then if we turn over to the right, we've got 2 boats coming up as well. Look at that. One is passing the other one. If this is a race, we've got the first one passing the second one. The second one is hanging out behind there, meandering behind the boat here. The first one's coming on here, the Tanaka boat. The Tanakaya. Oh, they're doing like a karaoke. I'm waving to them for you guys here. We don't get any waves here. Let's wave to this other boat. Oh, this is the one of these tour boats that will come. They're definitely gonna wave. Let's see if we can brighten up some people's days here. Here they come. I'm at the point, everybody. Welcome to Tokyo. I'm your official welcomer. We got a couple in there. Welcome. Woo! That just made my day. That was awesome. There was like 10 people on there waving back. That's humans for you. We're not connected, we're separated. There's no way I'll be able to get on board, but you can still find some sort of way to connect. Hey, my buddy Jeff's here. I always watch you and Greg, and I love your videos of survival and recovery. Yes! Speaking of survival, the ideas that I have for this winter are gonna be pretty fun. Gosh, I was really, this is a day when the weather is like this and everybody, you're feeling really positive. I'm just super excited about what's to come. God, this weather is criminal. It shouldn't be like this. Hey Ario, how you doing? All right, everybody, I think it's been fun. I gotta get back. I have a video that I'm working really hard on right now that I'm hoping that I can get out ASAP. I'm taking the thumbnail picture tonight. Then there's another one and another one. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff going on here. And I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to live stream, but I wanna hang out with you guys and keep you in touch. So for those that are joining me right now, just to sum up, right now it's 24 degrees or so. It feels warmer in the sun, but typically it's 17 degrees, so that's what makes today such a treat. It usually doesn't get too much. Maybe it'll get to 20 for a little bit one afternoon, but it never really gets to where it is today and yesterday. And we feel really lucky. I got shorts and sandals on in November. It doesn't make sense to me. It's been a long time since I've had this. And if you're thinking about December and January, you get less sunlight, it's colder, but there's positives to these seasons as well. The cuisine might be better in the fall, in the winter. than the summer. But in the summer, of course, is so hot and humid. But today is an anomaly. And it's a good one. It's a good one. All right, I'll see you again tomorrow. I'll try to bring you a live stream. I have another Q&A about autumn travel. There's some destinations, and this is 2 weeks earlier than typically. I know Kyoto right now already has Koyo started, the changing of the colored leaves. It's already started in Kyoto. Usually it's like around the 15th of November to about the 25th. Usually it's later. And then Kyushu, it starts to come around December, actually. It's like following the cherry blossoms, but this year, because the summer was ridiculously hot and sunny, the colors aren't as vibrant, and they're early this year. Again, it's so warm today. What are you gonna do? Aloha, Michael Sassano. Weather almost, wait, what was that? Weather almost looks like Hawaii. What? That cormorant just came out of nowhere. These are the birds that dive down. In Gifu, they have a leash around their neck. There's a bird just went underneath there. These are the cormorants. They're swimming birds. And they pick out the fish, and you don't know where they come out. In Gifu, they have them to attach to boats with fire, and the fish come to the surface for the fire, and the birds will grab the fish, and then because the ring stops them from swallowing it, they pull the fish out, and that was how they did fishing in Gifu back then. It's quite famous. Oh, there he is over there. Oh, that diver just went down. It's a swimming bird. If you came back as a bird, wouldn't you want to be a bird that could fly and also swim? That just makes sense. I think that's an aosagi over there. Or a white egret, maybe? And there's the cormorant there, just dived underneath there. Which bird would you rather be? The black cormorant that can swim under the water and also fly, or the graceful white aosagi with a massive neck? So if you did drop some food in a Coke bottle, you'd be able to get it out with your small head and beak. I don't see where the bird came up for air. The problem is, I bet you that those swimming birds can get attacked by sharks and stuff. I don't know. So which one would you rather be? You can tell me in the comments below. That's like a big question here. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. I can't believe it's 24 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius. It just doesn't comprehend. It's like 80 degrees, it feels like. Get a bento, sit out here in the corner of Tsukuda and watch the boats go by. That is a wonderful. In fact, if you stay at a hotel, the Appa Hotel in Hachobori or around Tokyo Station, it's just about a 15-20 minute walk to here. And there's Tsukiji over there. That's St. Luke's Hospital and the Tsukiji area where that tall building is in the distance there. So it's pretty easy to get here to Chuo Ohashi, Chuo Bridge, which is the center of Chuo-ku, to Chuo Ward, which is where I live. It's nice. I feel very lucky to live here. And I'll probably eat lunch, edit, and go for a lovely run, maybe to Toyosu and around the Toyosu Fish Market, or you can go running along the river all the way to Asakusa or Asakusa, all the way to about the Sky Tree if you wanted to, without traffic lights. There's a couple of places where you got to go up and around the bridge, but it's an amazing run along the river here in Tokyo. You don't have to just go along the Imperial Palace. You can run around here and definitely around Toyosu, which is such a beautiful, wide, uninterrupted path with a lovely view of the city. So much better than the Imperial Palace and not crowded on this side. So another reason that you might want to stay at the La Vista Hotel in Toyosu, because they have amazing breakfast, and also it's just such an amazing view of the harbor and the bay and that area for walking around. In particular, if you have a family, that's probably a better place to stay, more space. All right, everybody, I'll see you in another live stream tomorrow. Until then, enjoy your weekend. Bye from Tokyo. Mata ne. John just said unagi bento. Oh my gosh, magic words. Now I'm hungry.